Hi, good morning. I'm I'm Anjali Vinod, and I am a food blogger. Yes, I'm the kind of person who will not let you eat something until I get a perfect picture of every single dish that is on the table. Sometimes you will even find me standing on a chair to get that perfect aerial shot. I know that sounds weird, and when I do it at home, it's completely fine. But when I do it in a crowded restaurant, people tend to stare, but that's okay. I can't really help it because I need that picture, and I love documenting it. That's it, just as simple as that. Just like every other blogger out there, I had no idea what I wanted to be when I grew up. I mean, definitely, it wasn't my idea to become a food blogger or anything. When I was young, when someone asked me what I want to be when I grew up, the, I would always mention these three professions, that is engineering, medicine, or lawyering. Just like I'm pretty sure you all had the same dreams as well. But my reason for going into these said professions was my father is an engineer, my uncle is a lawyer, and I have another uncle who's a doctor. And that was it. That was just it. I wanted to be that because, that's what they're doing, so I'll do that as well. It was not because I wanted to become a doctor and save lives or something. I guess back then I wasn't creative enough to think that way. And during my teenage years, I wanted to become a fashion designer. But thankfully, at some point, I realized that my sense of fashion is terrible, and I gave up on that dream. Then, just like almost every other young people who just got out of school, I enrolled in an engineering college. Those 4 years of my life I spent doing absolutely nothing and learning absolutely nothing. I mean, no offense to the actual engineers out there. I mean, you guys are doing a really good job. I'm sure there are a lot of people who aspire to be an engineer and who love that field of work. And I respect that, but it just wasn't for me. So, sorry. So after I completed those 4 years, I got married. For this, I'd like to thank the astrologer who convinced my parents that if I do not get married right away, I will not be married or I will not find the right person until I turn 40. Yeah, great reason to get married, huh? But, parents, they worry and they started searching for somebody and they found someone, and I have no complaints here because they actually found a good person for me. We were a good match. So, no complaints on that area. And there I was, 23, married, and still no idea what I wanted to do with life. That was the time when food, fashion, travel, lifestyle blogs were starting to be a thing in India. So I started documenting my food journey. And my goal at that point was just to, share my love for food with the world and learn something, learn about the different kinds of cuisines, learn to be a better baker, learn to cook better. And it wasn't just about, taking pictures and posting it on social media and, the likes and comments. No, it was a bit more than that. I love food. I love learning about it. I love the way we get fluffy clouds when we whisk up egg whites. I love the charred look on grilled meat. Apologies to the vegetarians, but yeah, I love that. I love the smell of cocoa. I love watching cake batter puff up in the oven. I find it magical, starting from selecting ingredients to cooking to photographing and finally devouring it in all its glory. Pure bliss. And I guess, perhaps as a result of all this, I started getting invites to attend tasting sessions, restaurant inaugurations. I met a lot of food bloggers and food enthusiasts from different parts of the world. I even worked with some amazing food companies in India. Right now, I even have an offer to work with Amazon. That sounds pretty decent, right? I mean, for a girl who comes from a normal middle class family, has had a normal, pretty okay life, that sounds pretty decent. This is what people see about me on social media. This is the part of my life which people have access to. They see out there on social media. And I've had people tell me things like, you inspired me to do so and so today. And that sounds nice. I love hearing that. I don't deny it. I love hearing that. I mean, inspiring someone, even if it's to do something simple, it's nice, right? You feel good about yourself. I feel good about myself, yes. But then I've also had people tell me things like, wow, your life is so perfect. Why can't I have that? Or just look at the way you live your life. I want to live my life that exact same way. And some even confessed that they were depressed. I mean, not because of my food blog, but because of, what they saw out there on social media. But the truth is, what I put out there on social media is just maybe 10 to 20% of what actually goes on in my life. It's not to deceive anyone. It's not to make it seem like my life is all perfect. No. It's just that when I'm sitting in the corner of my room crying about something, I do not feel like taking a selfie and putting it up on Instagram. No. I do not feel like tweeting about it. You will not find a negative review about any restaurant or product on my page. And that's not because I've never had a bad experience at a restaurant, or not because I've never tasted a bad product or something like that. No. It's because I practice something called constructive criticism. So instead of just bashing somebody, saying, oh, that sucks. No. Instead of just saying that, I provide, I just put it in a nice way out there. That's it. And they feel good about that, and you'll be surprised to see that restaurants and chefs actually accept this kind of thing. When you're actually nice to them and tell them there's been a problem, they actually try to fix it. If I'm in a fight with my husband, I do not go on social media and try to send an encrypted message by posting a sad quote or a sad picture on it. That does not work for us. We found out that what works for us is, talking about it in person. That just seems to work, and that's why you will not find, these kind of small problems that happen in day-to-day life on social media. Wow, I just blanked out. I forgot what I was supposed to say. Yeah, so, what was it? I was going in such a good flow right now, and okay, I'm sorry. Okay. So yeah, depression and everything. And when you compare when you compare your life with someone else's social media page, you're actually comparing some of the best moments or the best parts of their life to some of the not so perfect parts in your life. That doesn't sound right, does it? There was a point in time when I used to do that too, and as a result, I started experiencing stress, high levels of anxiety, feelings of worthlessness, and I later realized that I was on a path to depression. Yes, that happened. Maybe it wasn't out there on social media, but yes, it happened. And I thought deleting my social media account would solve all these problems. Just delete it and it's gone. But what happened was, but that wasn't the case. I just started experiencing more problems, like fear of missing out, FOMO. I still had that constant need to check, what's happening. I wanted to find out. That's when chaos theory and complexity can maybe come play in this area, like in this area of life. Now, chaos theory, in very simple terms, it deals with, it's the mathematical study of unpredictability. Now, I'm not even going to try and explain that to you over here because, I don't entirely understand it myself, and Max usually just goes right over my head. But there is one property of chaos theory which I do understand, and that is complex systems. Complex systems, they are sensitive to initial conditions. And a complex system has, a lot of major parts which are deeply interconnected. And a minor change in, one part of the system can have can affect the system in such a major way. And when we look at life just like that, human life as a complex system, we have all these emotions, habits, work, everything which are interconnected, deeply interconnected, that a change in something else might actually, what I'm trying to say is, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going a bit off topic, but yeah. Yeah. So what I tried to do in the beginning was try to deal with my problem head on. I tried to tackle it head on, I saw that social media was my problem, and I thought deleting it would solve all my problems, but that just backfired. So instead, I tried a different approach this time. I went back on social media, but this time I limited my time on it. I limited the time I spent on it. I started taking care of myself a bit more, painting, joining Zumba classes. That didn't really last long, but yeah, things like that. So what happened was, these tiny changes in my life that I made, it actually brought on a lot more positivity in my life. I stopped comparing my life to somebody else's on social media. I was able to come out of that rut. And the truth is, even though I was able to do that, I was still not in control of my life. In 2017, my son was diagnosed with a condition called CDH. It's a condition where, there's a hole in the diaphragm, and the organs which are supposed to be in your abdomen, they kind of migrate straight up to the chest. So he was in the NICU for about 28 days, and forever thankful to them, some doctors, nurses, and a lot of, life-saving surgeries later, he is all right now, he survived. But again, that put me back where I had just come out of. That put me back into depression. That had a very drastic effect on my physical and my mental health. And the thing is, no matter how hard you try to control every single aspect of your life, sometimes it's going to go into chaos mode. And you just have to figure out a way to come out of it, and tackling that problem head on is not always the right way to do that. And some people tend to give up, when they try to tackle the problem head on and nothing happens, there's no change in their life, they kind of tend to give up. So that's why I urge you to try and think, if you are faced with the problem, instead of just going at it and just concentrating on the problem, maybe if you change some other aspect of your life, maybe if you concentrate a little bit more on some other aspect of your life, things may just start improving for you. I know this is not an earth-shattering idea, but you'll be surprised to know that almost 5 crore people in India suffer from depression. They don't know what to do. Most of them, they don't know what to do when that happens. And maybe, just maybe, a simple idea like this, I'm not saying it will, it could, maybe, I'm just hoping it changes their life. So I urge you to live your life half in control, half out, at the edge of chaos. Thank you.